John, what are you learning?
Well, Wolf, what we've been trying to do is develop a richer picture of who is the man behind this carnage in New Orleans. What do we know about him, and what can that tell us about motive? And what we've learned from multiple sources is that Mr. Jabbar apparently made, according to authorities, a series of voice recordings on video as he drove, they believe, from Texas to Louisiana to partake in these attacks, allegedly. The recordings talk about the turmoil in his family, the long-fought, bitter divorce he was going through. He discusses, according to officials briefed on the videos, where it appears they're made while he's driving, but it's in the dark, so you can't really see him on these videos, recorded apparently on his phone. But he talks about the idea of getting his family together for a celebration, which would have been a ruse so that he could kill all of them, but that over time, after having a series of dreams about joining ISIS, that he changed his plan to carry out this attack in New Orleans to create mass casualties in the name of ISIS. So what we're starting to see is an individual who was experiencing turmoil and stressors in life, who was going to act out in some kind of violent way, and at least according to what they believe are his own words, decided to do this as an alternative to killing his family. In the recordings, he also has a last will and testament where he divides up what little money he has left after all the financial losses and setbacks he had suffered to family members. So they're beginning to get a picture of what was going on, and it seems to be what was going on in the background of this individual's life that was as much of a driver as any commitment to terrorism.
Yeah, John Miller, great reporting as usual. Stand by.
So that just tells us something. Is ISIS recruiting people that are having mental health issues, that are angry, whose lives are falling apart? Is that the profile of someone that ISIS would recruit, Mike?
Yeah, Bill, if you read some of the literature about how they recruit in other countries like in the Middle East, they're looking for young men. First of all, they're looking for young men who are single, who don't have family, who don't have a lot of attachments, who may decide that they are in a vulnerable position to be spoken to, and they're vulnerable to suggestion. They're vulnerable to joining a group that is going to do something that is greater than themselves. And sometimes that could be, a patriotic thing, like after 9/11 attacks, people joined the military to protect our nation. So you want to be, that's part of a human instinct, is to take part in something that is bigger than yourself and that is meaningful to you. And so therefore you could look, it'll make you proud. Perhaps this guy himself was very vulnerable. John Miller seems to suggest he was. I wouldn't know how they would recruit him, maybe through contact with looking at last names, looking at people who are ex-military. Maybe he knows somebody who's recruiting for ISIS. But our strength, our technological strength, our internet, that's wonderful. We get news very quickly and from many different sources, but it is also a weakness that it can be used against us to recruit people like him. So he does fit the kind of vulnerable person profile that ISIS may be looking for. And in this case, they seem to struck gold with this one guy.
I think you're 100% correct. Dr. W., you said something before that actually gave me a little pause, and it's so true. There was a big poster after 9/11 that showed NYPD officers running toward the towers. And it said, while civilians ran away, we ran toward it. And that isn't just NYPD. That is law enforcement across this nation. And you saw, as you said, when that truck went around to the sidewalk, I saw about 12 officers running toward danger. How many people in their profession not just are required to do that, but don't hesitate to do that as sworn law enforcement officers do, Dr. Debbie?
Absolutely. And that's why, again, the real heroes of our country are our local, state, and federal officers, first responders, military men and women, even though we, the three of us, understand because of our our studies, and the viewers are well versed as well, the terrorist mentality is they think that they're warriors and that they're heroes and that they're making sure they heighten the political and governmental postures and positions of whatever it is their ideology is. But you also said, Sergeant Bill and Professor Mike, at some point, these people become radicalized. Now, is there vulnerability? There is. But certainly the three of us are not vulnerable to anything like this, nor the viewers. So I feel as a criminologist, no matter what is presented to us, we as good citizens, good people, make good decisions. So somebody like Jabbar had to have believed in participating in this weapon of mass destruction. You know, this pickup truck is the weapon of mass destruction. And I also think that a lot of the ISIS mentality is a participant of the vehicles being used as the weapons, and not only the guns that he presented, but they'll know that it will end in their own demise, and they don't seem to care. Why? Because that's the heroic ideology they think they're participating in.
Look, this guy was loaded for bear, and after he committed his carnage, he got out of the vehicle, started firing at officers, and he was met with gunfire, and they took him out. And had they not been prepared to do that, had they not acted so quickly, so diligently, we could have had more people struck and killed by this guy, but law enforcement quickly moved in. And for that, I think all of us really have to be thankful. Professor Mike.
Yeah, Billy, this guy was on a mission. Shamsud Din Jabbar was on a mission, a jihadist mission. And so he was loaded for bear, as you say. He had improvised explosive devices. I'm thinking something like a small hand grenade he could throw, maybe homemade. He had weapons. He had ammunition. He was on he was going to kill himself. He was on that, suicide mission. He was going to take out as many people as he wanted, as he possibly could. He knew he wasn't going to walk away from this. He was willing to shoot it out. He didn't run away. You could see where his body fell in some pictures. He's right by his truck. He was going out, Ali Akbar, and he was going to take as many people as he could. And that is, so that shows you the dedication that these people have. They are, they're willing to lay down their life for their jihadist mentality, and they don't mind taking out little children, young adults, pregnant women, moms, grandfathers. They don't care. Anybody that they could take out, the body count is what's important to them. And that's really sick. But these guys are loaded for bear. They're ready to go to their death, killing as many as they can.
Absolutely.